Okay, so you won't believe what's been going on with the royals. This isn't just your typical palace drama. This is a full-blown family feud with Prince George, yeah, the future king, stepping up to defend his younger brother, Prince Louis. And it all started with some seriously messed up bullying. See, Prince Louis, he's only 7, right? And he's been getting tormented by Tom Parker Bowles' kids, Henry and Edward. Tom, of course, is Camilla's son, so these are her grandkids too. The bullying was happening at Clarence House during these supposedly friendly family gatherings Queen Camilla hosts. But for Louis, these visits became a total nightmare. Apparently, these little brats, Henry and Edward, were playing this twisted game called Kingdom, where they'd crown themselves kings and princes and force Louis to be their servant. I'm talking making him fetch water, mocking his speech, the kind of stuff that can really mess with a kid's confidence. And get this, they threatened to tell Queen Camilla if he didn't do what they said. Talk about a power trip. Now everyone else seemed to be turning a blind eye. Kate and William, bless their hearts, were swamped with royal duties, charity work, the whole shebang. They thought they were creating this idyllic childhood for their kids, shielded from the pressures of royal life, but they totally missed the signs. That's where Prince George comes in. George, at 12, is wise beyond his years. He noticed Louis shrinking into himself, dreading those trips to Clarence House. He saw the fear in his little brother's eyes, the way he stopped laughing, the way he clutched his red fire truck like it was a lifeline. George, being the awesome big brother that he is, wasn't having any of it. He confronted Louis, asking him what was wrong. And when Louis finally spilled the beans, George was furious. He marched right up to Henry and Edward and told them to knock it off. "Louis is not your servant," he declared. Can you imagine the guts it took for a 12-year-old to stand up to these entitled little bullies? But here's the kicker. He told Queen Camilla herself. George, bless his heart, thought that if he just told Granny Camilla what was happening, she'd put a stop to it. He went to her private tea room, laid it all out, explained how scared Louis was. And what did she do? Dismissed it as just playing and told George not to take things so seriously. Can you believe the nerve? That's when George realized the adults weren't going to do anything. Camilla was protecting her own grandkids, even if it meant Louis suffered. And that's when the whole thing went nuclear. He knew he had to take matters into his own hand. This wasn't just about some childish squabble. This was about protecting his brother, about standing up for what's right, even if it meant going against the entire royal family. It's a classic case of the older siblings stepping in when the parents are too busy, or in this case, too politically constrained to act. Okay, so George tries to go through the proper channels, right? He tells Camilla, and she basically brushes him off, saying the boys are just playing and Louis is too sensitive. Can you imagine how infuriating that must have been for a 12-year-old who's watching his little brother suffer? So William and Kate get back from their tour, and George finally tells them everything. They're horrified, obviously. Kate is just heartbroken that Louis didn't feel like he could come to them, and William is seeing red ready to go to war for his son. Now, you'd think that would be the end of it, right? The parents are involved, the bullying will stop, everyone lives happily ever after, but this is the royal family we're talking about. Nothing is ever that simple. William confronts King Charles, demanding that he investigate and take action. But Charles, being the ultimate diplomat, tries to downplay the whole thing. It's just children's behavior, William, he says, basically telling him to calm down. He promises Camilla will talk to her grandsons, but that's not going to be enough. And Camilla, true to form, just phones Tom Parker Bowles and tells him to make sure his boys behave. She doesn't acknowledge the bullying. She doesn't apologize to Louis. She just wants the whole thing to go away quietly. It's infuriating. Meanwhile, there's this staff member who witnessed the twins mocking Louis, and they quietly report it to a senior housekeeper. But guess what? That staff member gets reassigned to another royal residence. Talk about a message being sent. The royal family is clearly more concerned with protecting its image than with the well-being of a 7-year-old boy. So nothing really changes. Louis is still anxious, still scared of Clarence House, and George is just seething watching his brother shrink into himself. He sees his parents trying to do something, but their hands are tied by protocol, by tradition, by the whole messed up system. And that's when he decides he's going to take matters into his own hands. Again. He realizes that if his parents can't protect Louis, then he will. And that's when he comes up with the plan that's going to blow the whole thing wide open. He's not going to retaliate. He's not going to start a fight. He's just going to demand fairness. So here's where it gets really interesting. The royal family is having another gathering at Clarence House, right? All the usual pomp and circumstance, everyone pretending that everything is just peachy. But George has a plan. He's not going to let this go on any longer. During the gathering, with all the adults chatting and sipping tea, George stands up. Can you imagine the silence that must have fallen over the room? This 12-year-old kid about to drop a truth bomb on the entire royal family. He starts by saying that the royal family is supposed to stand for respect. But then he lays it all out. How Louis has been mocked, ordered around, and bullied by Henry and Edward. He reminds everyone that he told Queen Camilla, and still nothing changed. And then he says the line that's going to make headlines around the world: if my brother can't feel safe here, then what is the point of all this? And if anyone keeps bullying him, I will tell all of England. Boom. The room is in shock. Kate is holding her breath, William is trying to contain his fury, and Camilla is absolutely livid. She tells George, "How dare you speak that way?" But George doesn't back down. He just repeats, "I'm telling the truth. I just want Louis to be safe." It's an incredibly powerful moment. This young prince putting his own reputation on the line, risking the wrath of the royal family, all to protect his little brother. It's a testament to his character, to his sense of justice, and to the bond he shares with Louis. After that, of course, all hell breaks loose. The story leaks to the press, and the monarchy is facing a full-blown crisis. Everyone is taking sides, demanding answers, and calling for Camilla to be held accountable. It's a PR nightmare, but it's also a moment of reckoning for the royal family. Will they finally address the issue of bullying, or will they continue to protect their own at the expense of a child's well-being? George's actions have forced their hand. He's shown more courage and integrity than many of the adults in the room, and he's reminded everyone what the royal family is supposed to stand for. Not just tradition and protocol, but also compassion and justice. So yeah, George basically just nuked the whole situation. And the fallout, it's been insane. The public is absolutely rallying behind George and Louis. I mean, Number Protect Louis was trending for days. People are seeing this for what it is. A blatant abuse of power, and Camilla, well, she's getting crucified in the press. And honestly, she deserves it. You can't just dismiss a child's pain like that, especially when you're supposed to be the freaking grandma. But here's the thing. It's not just about Camilla. It's about the whole institution. People are starting to question the entire royal family, their values, what they stand for. I mean, what's the point of all the pomp and circumstance if they can't even protect their own children from bullying? It's a legit question. William and Kate, they're in a tough spot. On one hand, they're proud of George for standing up for his brother. On the other hand, they know he just created a massive headache for the monarchy. But honestly, they're doing the right thing. They're putting their kids first, and that's what matters. William, he's not backing down. He's making it clear that this kind of behavior is not acceptable, and he's demanding real change. He's basically telling his father and Camilla that they need to get their act together, or the monarchy is going to be in serious trouble. And you know what? He's right. Camilla, she's finally forced to acknowledge what happened. She makes the twins apologize to Louis, but you can tell she's just doing it because she has to, not because she actually cares. The apology is stilted, insincere, and you know those little brats are probably just doing it to get out of trouble. But the real victory here is that Louis is finally feeling safe again. He knows that his big brother has his back and that his parents are going to protect him. And that's what really matters. William and Kate, they whisk the kids away to Anmer Hall, their country home. It's a chance for Louis to heal, to get away from the spotlight, and to just be a normal kid again. They're having picnics, playing games, just doing normal family stuff. And it's exactly what Louis needs. George, he's being a rock for Louis. He's always by his side, making sure he's okay, reminding him that he's loved. He's basically become Louis's protector, his shield against the world. And it's an amazing thing to see. At the end of the day, this whole thing is a mess. But it's also a wake-up call for the royal family. They need to realize that they can't just ignore problems and hope they go away. They need to be accountable, they need to be compassionate, and they need to put people first. And George, he's the hero of this story. He's shown more courage and integrity than anyone else, and he's reminded everyone what it means to be a good brother, a good son, and a good future king. He just might be the one to save the monarchy, not by upholding tradition, but by challenging it. Okay, so the dust is settling, but the monarchy is still reeling, right? I mean, George straight up called out the queen consort, and that doesn't just disappear overnight. Here's the deal. The palace is trying to spin this as a family matter that's been resolved. They're putting out carefully worded statements about how everyone is committed to the well-being of the children and how lessons have been learned. But nobody's buying it, least of all the British public. You see, the problem isn't just Henry and Edward being little jerks. It's the fact that Camilla enabled them, and the institution protected her. It's the ingrained sense of entitlement that permeates the entire royal family, where some people are just inherently seen as better than others. And that's what George tapped into. People are now looking at everything with a much more critical eye. They're asking, what else are they hiding? Who else is being protected at the expense of ordinary people? Is this monarchy even relevant anymore? These are questions that were already simmering beneath the surface, but George's actions have brought them to a boil. And let's be real, Charles isn't exactly helping things. He's trying to play the peacemaker, but he just comes across as weak and indecisive. He should be coming down hard on Camilla, demanding that she apologize publicly and making it clear that bullying will not be tolerated. But he's too afraid of upsetting the apple cart, of creating more drama. Kate and William, they're walking a tightrope. They have to support their son, but they also have to uphold the institution. They can't just come out and say, yeah, the monarchy is totally messed up. But they're doing what they can. They're being visible, they're being compassionate, and they're making it clear that they're on the side of the people. The long-term impact of all this is hard to predict. But one thing is certain, the monarchy will never be the same. George has fundamentally changed the dynamic, and he's given a voice to those who have been silenced for too long. He's basically shown that you don't have to be born into power to make a difference. You just have to be willing to stand up for what's right, even if it means going against the establishment. And that's a lesson that a lot of people are taking to heart. Look, the monarchy is facing an existential crisis. They need to